Hey guys, want to do a quick video of this 2020 Kurt Busch number 54 Twix Cookies and Cream custom 164 that I'm working. And this is a car with the decals from Pattos place that I run into from time to time, where the decal set just doesn't line up with the body of the car very well. This is a Toyota Supra, so it's a little bit different, and the decal set just isn't perfect. And it's interesting how Pattos provides a little bit extra decals in order to kind of make up the difference, right? So you kind of have to customize it. So let's go through this car. Well, first of all, I want to show you the car on the track here. Okay, so it's actually kind of hard to get some good pictures of it, but you can see here the front. And so I had purchased this car, or the decals, with this yellow caramel color removed. So I have the decal sets, mostly the blue, and then the Twix and the 54 and the like. So you can see here the blue here comes all the way down to the front, across the bottom, and then, you know, it's on the roof here, and then it's on the back. There's not really any blue on the sides. Here's another decent picture of the front. You can see this blue here on this headlight comes over here into the fender well, and yeah, so kind of look at some of that stuff kind of closely. And let's see, there's another pretty good picture actually of him in the car. So that's what I'm going after. So when we get to these decals, I'll show you where I'm at. I'm not quite done yet, but here, let me set this here, and I'll kind of pick up the car and show you what I've got to do. So the decal, I usually start on a car like this with this hood, large hood decal. And let me show you. This is, like I said, I like to build two at the same time. The hood decal, you know, looks like this. But pretty early on, you realize it doesn't line up. So typically I try to line up where these hood pins are to where the hood pins are on the car, as close as I can, you know, within reason. I try to get those to line up. So I had to trim this part off in order for that to line up, and it's still a little low. So at the end of the day, I'm trimming most of this part off of the decal in order for this to fit. So that's that one. And then the roof decal, you know, kind of looks like this, and I cut that up into really three different pieces. The Busch name on the back comes off, the Xfinity comes off, and then you're left with this blue here in the middle. When you do that, you know, you have a single decal here, a single decal here, and then you realize that this decal here doesn't stretch all the way to the back. So what I had to do was I painted this black. That's kind of my default position for a lot of this stuff, because this is black here. So I painted this black, and then I applied the decal, and I had to trim it because it's a little long. It comes over the edge, and there's no reason for us to, you know, to do that, because it's just a pain. I like to trim it, and especially because these roof lines are black, so I'll paint those black. So you do that, and so I just finished decaling this, so it's not completely set just yet. Haven't put any coats of sealer on it, so I like to push these in to get in there. So anyways, this will be, I'll paint this roof line here and here when I'm done. But that went in pretty well. Then you get to this back, And with these Supras, this decal is just way too big. So I trimmed off as much as I could to keep the actual logo in place, but the logo does spread up onto the back windshield just a little bit. So I cut it, try to center it in place over top of this trunk area. It folds over just a little bit onto this, what I call the shark fin that comes down this way. But before I did that, I painted the spoiler black. And then this back piece is all one decal. And interestingly enough, it's short. So it doesn't stretch all the way from the bottom to the top. So what I did was I painted this black up here, and I painted it a little low. Typically I would just paint the spoiler, but if you can tell, since this doesn't come all the way to the top, I just painted it black. And that way there's no yellow showing through. On the bottom here, I brought it up and I painted across this so there's no yellow along the bottom. So this will be black along here. So I'd much rather have, you know, no gap showing and have the black there. Alright, so let's look at these side decals. This is all one decal across here, the 54 and the Twix. Unfortunately, because this is so thick here and wide, you can see where the decal is supposed to go, or the window is supposed to go in this little area, but it doesn't. It doesn't stretch all the way up. So this little thing is supposed to be above the window, and this is supposed to come up to the window, but it doesn't. So as opposed to having a gap down here, I have this big gap here, and there's just nothing I can do about that. That's just the way it's going to be. It does line up pretty well. There's like a little extra little tiny piece here that matches over to the rear tail light that goes there. This kind of lines up pretty good here. So it does line up best around the wheel well, but again, it just doesn't look right, and there's no way around it. I could cut this and bring it up here, but I would have a good, you know, 1/4 inch, you know, in there, maybe 1/8 of an inch in there of a gap, and that's just, it would look dumb. These little pieces along the side here, I cut and then lined up here, these little blue pieces up here as well. They kind of line up here. Rowdy goes up here, little Toyota logo there. There's a little, I think, Joe Gibbs Racing logo that goes right there. These are kind of standard over here. The other side is not as bad, because the word Twix doesn't have anything that comes up into this back window here, the side window. So you can see the decal lays in there nicely. The fuel decal covers the little fuel area on the car. You can see on this car where that fuel door is, or fuel area is, and it covers it up almost perfectly. So that's nice. So yeah, this side looks really good. Now, where I'm having some problems is on these headlights and these little sides here. So what I do on the headlights, I cut them all up. So here's the headlight, or the front decal. So I cut this off, or I cut these little pieces off as their own little decals here. I cut the grill off, as you can see. This is where I'm at here. So the 54 and the headlight and this blue around here is all one decal that I apply. I cut the Supra and the Toyota logo and this blue background into like a V-shaped into one decal. And then this piece over here, this other headlight with the Joe Gibbs, is another decal in and of itself. So I like to cut those up as opposed to laying it across, because it just goes on so much better, and you can line it up a little bit better. But as you can see, this should be all blue, but it just doesn't line up, right? The hood decal, the headlight decal. So I've got these extra decals that come with the set, these extra blue decals, and I'm going to have to trim them and just lay them in here to make this blue and make this area blue. This Goodyear on this driver's side, I think is supposed to be back here a little bit, but I lined it up the way I did because it's just a huge gap if I moved it back to the right. And this is a little bit more centered over the wheel well, because all the Goodyear lettering in that blue background is all tied in together. You can't separate that out. On this other side, the Goodyear logo has this part of the T in the Twix in it. Let me show you. So this is how it comes. See this? So it says Goodyear, and it's all blue here, and then there's this little part of the T. So you have to line that up, right? You just have to line that up with the lettering from the hood decal. So line that up so that this T looks nice, but is the Goodyear centered over the wheel well? Not even close, right? It should be over here, but it's moved back to the left. And you know, it's just unfortunate. That's just the way it goes. Ideally, you can see this is supposed to touch to this, but it's not even close. Not even close. So I'm going to, again, cut a little piece of blue and line it up and stretch it from here to here to bridge that gap. And then on the nose, before I put this on, right, I've got to fit a blue piece in right below where it says Supra. I've got to fit a blue piece in here because, again, it's just the decal set just doesn't line up very well. So that's kind of the struggle with some of these cars and the decal sets. They just don't, maybe the I don't want to say the model or the template that is used to make these decals, because this is a new Supra, it just doesn't line up very well. Some of the actual Chevy Camaros from the Nationwide and Xfinity series, I find the same type of problems, especially around this this area here on the front fenders and wheel wells. The decal sets from Pattos don't line up very well, and you have to kind of customize it yourself even further to make it a good looking car. So it's unfortunate the decal set doesn't line up with the body, but I credit Pattos or whoever designed the decal set in having these additional blue color decals that you can trim and cut to fill in these little gaps that are there. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the color. Again, this is a Rust Oleum Warm Yellow color. This is what it looks like before applying the decals. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. Let's go back and look at the pictures of the car I'm looking at, and you can see that's really, really close to what he drove. So a little trial and error when you're trying to match the car or match the color to the car on the track. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but again, excited to make this a brand new 2020 car. This will be, after making that one Matt Kenseth car, this will be the next car I made. And so yeah, this will be finished up here probably in the next day, and then I'll list it, and that'll be fun. So okay, that's pretty much it for this video. Just wanted to go go over the car. God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you in the next video.